Today I'd like to talk to you about something that is not discussed nearly enough. The role that sex and intimacy play in our lives as we age. They play a very important role in our happiness, our health, and our overall well-being. And don't worry, this isn't going to be embarrassing. Think of it as you and me having a cup of coffee together as friends and having this discussion. In fact, I would love all my videos to be viewed in this way. Just you and I sitting having a wonderful private conversation. Now I know that I'm talking to many people, but in this instance, I want to talk directly to you. For those of us who haven't met before, my name is Rose. Thank you so much for coming to my video channel tonight or maybe today for you, and coming to join our chat. My channel is all about authenticity, and maybe sometimes I do talk about things that are not always spoken about by other channels, but I like to keep it real. So let's get back to the topic. Have you ever noticed that once we get to a certain age, people automatically assume that we have no further interest in any sexual intimacy? It's almost as if society thinks that after 60 or 70, that's a thing of the past, and the only discussions we have are about our high or low blood pressure, our knee replacements, or our sore backs. And that's not so. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Anyway, the reality of sex after 60 and 70 is very different. Many older adults continue to have romance, intimacy, companionship, and yes, even sex into their older years. That's not the case for everybody. We know that, and that's absolutely fine. But we're going to discuss this tonight and look at all the different aspects of it. If you have a desire for physical connection, excuse me, this will remain a very important part of your life. What's interesting is that researchers have found that many older adults remain sexually active way into their 70s and even 80s and beyond. For many of us, the desire for physical connection just doesn't disappear just because we're aging. But listen to this. While researching the topic, I discovered how many health benefits and general well-being benefits there were to maintaining a healthy sex life. Now, I don't want to leave any out, so I'm going to read them to you. A better mood, well, that sounds about right. Low stress levels, improved sleep, increased feelings of connection, and greater life satisfaction. Now, who wouldn't like a bit of that? But even without sex, we still feel loved, valued, connected, and life feels good. But I'm just telling you the added benefits of having an active sex life into your older years. Some studies have even proven that a good sex life helps with cognition as we get older. Now that really got my attention. If there's something enjoyable that could keep the brain engaged, well, who can argue with that? But perhaps still the most important part here is intimacy is still more important than the act of sex. Touching each other, holding, cuddling, skin contact, a closeness that comes from really loving each other and respecting each other. And many older couples discover that intimacy does evolve into those activities as they age. A loving touch on the shoulder can sometimes say more than 1,000 words. But what if you don't have a partner? This is something that affects people of all ages, perhaps widowed, divorced, or single. And being without a partner doesn't mean that you stop being a whole person with emotional needs and physical needs. Health professionals generally regard masturbation as a healthy activity in adulthood. It can contribute to relaxation, a sense of well-being, stress relief, and of course, body awareness. Now, this may be an embarrassing topic for a lot of people to talk about or even to listen to on this video, but it's a fact of life, and that's why we're talking about it. We're talking about things that really exist in people's lives. We can't keep quiet about everything. Some things are important and we do need to talk about them. For those single people, pleasure and self-care are not only for those with partners. I know that's something that's hard for some to even think about, but give it some thought. For more conservative people, I suppose that's something that they wouldn't even say out loud. And I'm discussing it with you now as a friend, me to you. But perhaps at the end of the day, the real message isn't about sex. Perhaps it's all about remaining fully alive. Growing older shouldn't be about giving up on affection and joy and laughter and pleasure, and maybe even the act of sex. I prefer to call it making love. But for this video, I'm calling it by the name that it is, the act of sexual intercourse, so that we all know exactly what we're speaking about and there's no confusion about this topic. As we grow older, it can be a wonderful time, a time of finally understanding the things that really matter. And if this is something that doesn't matter to you, you know that that's absolutely fine. But perhaps it does matter to some people. And perhaps some people will comment on this, and I understand if you don't, because it's a very private discussion. But I would like to hear a little bit of feedback if you're willing to comment. Thank you so much for joining me on this sensitive subject and a very private subject. But it was something that I felt that we needed to share, needed to talk about. Until next time, big hugs from me. Bye for now.